Being available is easy. It doesn't take much effort to show up, to be present, to respond to every message, to attend every event, or to always be on call. In fact, most people are available. That's the baseline. That's the starting point. But being valuable, now that's rare. And in a world full of people trying to be seen, the ones who are truly valued are the ones who are set apart. They carry something different. They offer something unique. And because of that, their presence carries weight. You see, anyone can fill a space, but not everyone can shift the atmosphere. Anyone can be in the room, but not everyone can be missed when they leave. And the difference isn't in how loud they were or how visible they made themselves. It's in how much value they brought into that space. Yeah. Value isn't about popularity. It's not about how many followers you have or how many people know your name. It's about what you offer. What do you solve? What do you inspire? What do you carry inside of you that changes situations, that moves people forward, that makes something better? Because if your presence doesn't bring progress, then your availability won't mean much in the long run. This is why so many people feel overlooked. They think they're doing everything right, always showing up, always saying yes, always being there. But showing up without growing up leads to stagnation. Availability without intentional growth is just presence without impact. And presence without impact gets ignored. Now, let me make it real for you. If someone gave you the choice between a rare gem locked in a box or a pile of pebbles you can pick up anywhere, you'd choose the gem. Why? Because it's valuable. Because it's rare. Because it took time, pressure, and process to become what it is. That's what you're supposed to be. Now, the easily accessible, always there for anyone version of yourself that burns out trying to be liked. But the focused, developed, purposeful version of yourself that knows your worth and operates in it. People don't chase what's always available. They chase what's valuable. That's why exclusivity matters. That's why developing your skills matters. That's why being intentional with your time, energy, and space matters. Because when you build value, you become a magnet. You stop trying to convince people to choose you, and you start attracting people who see your worth without you having to explain it. But here's the twist. Value takes work. It's not overnight. You don't just decide to be valuable. You build it. You study, you practice, you fail, you learn, you refine, you say no to distractions so you can say yes to development. And the more value you carry, the more you realize you can't afford to be available to everything and everyone. Because when you know what's in you, you protect it. You prioritize it. You steward. The truth is the marketplace doesn't reward availability, it rewards value. The world doesn't pay the most accessible people the highest salaries. It pays the most impactful people. So if you want to rise, if you want to be respected, if you want to be remembered, don't focus on being seen. Focus on becoming significant. Being available is the minimum. But being valuable, that's the mission. And once you start walking in that, once you commit to becoming rare, refined, and relevant, you'll realize something powerful. You were never meant to just take up space. You were born to change it. People don't respond to what's always around. They respond to what has weight, what has presence, what has value. In life, attention isn't commanded by noise. It's commanded by significance. And the hard truth is this. Availability doesn't make people respect you. Value does. You could be the most available person in the world, always picking up the phone, always saying yes to every favor, always trying to show up for everyone. But if you bring nothing unique, nothing transformative, nothing impactful into those interactions, then people will get used to you, not honor you. They will expect you. There's a principle that most people miss. What is easily accessible is rarely deeply appreciated. That's not arrogance, that's reality. People value what they perceive as rare, refined, and relevant. And here's the kicker. You teach people how to treat you by how you present yourself. If you carry yourself like someone who's always available but never intentional, always present but never prepared, you'll get applause but never influence. People will like you, but they won't listen to you. But flip it. What happens when you build value? What happens when you become the person who walks into a room and instantly shifts the energy because of what you carry? Suddenly, you don't have to fight for attention anymore. You don't have to beg for recognition, because when you become valuable, you become unforgettable. Respect doesn't come from being loud. It comes from having substance. It comes from being someone who can solve problems, someone who can offer insight, someone who adds weight to a situation. Valuable people walk into meetings and decisions shift. Valuable people speak and rooms go silent. Not because they forced anything, but because they earned that weight through growth, experience, and excellence. You don't get that kind of influence from just being around. You get it from developing what's within you. That's why investing in yourself isn't a luxury, it's a responsibility. Read, train, fail, try again, grow, stretch. Discipline your mind, sharpen your skills, refine your vision. Because when you build value, you build leverage. You're no longer just another option. You become the answer. So if you're feeling overlooked, if you're tired of not being recognized, maybe the issue isn't visibility, it's value. Maybe you've been trying so hard to be everywhere that you forgot to become someone worth looking for. That's the shift. Stop trying to be noticed. Start working on becoming necessary. Make it your mission to walk into every space carrying something that matters, whether it's your voice, your mindset, your skill set, or your gift. Refine it until people can't ignore you. Because when your value is undeniable, your presence will always be respected, even if you're not always available. So don't just show up. Don't just be there. Be the reason people remember the moment. Be the one they look for when things get serious. Be valuable and watch how the world responds. Value doesn't fall from the sky. It isn't handed out. It isn't inherited, and it isn't bought. Value is built, and the raw material it's built from is time. Time that you invest in yourself. If there's one truth that separates average from excellence, it's this. Those who become valuable spend time becoming better. There is no shortcut. There's no cheat code. If you want to rise, you've got to grow. This is why so many people get stuck. They want to be chosen, they want to be noticed, they want to be valued, but they spend most of their time watching others, comparing themselves, scrolling, wishing, complaining. Let me make it plain. You don't become valuable by waiting to be discovered. You become valuable by working when no one's watching. The late nights, the early mornings, the uncomfortable stretches outside your comfort zone. That's where value is built. The real separation happens in the unseen moments. While most people are consuming, valuable people are creating. While others are talking about what they could do, valuable people are sharpening their skills and developing their craft. They know that the world doesn't pay you for your time, it pays you for your value. And the only way to increase your value is to be intentional about what you do with your time. That means taking responsibility for your own growth, not waiting for someone to mentor you, not blaming circumstances, not making excuses. You've got to make the decision. I will not remain the same. I will read the books. I will learn the skills. I will develop the mindset, because my value is my responsibility. Let's be real. You cannot expect to stand out if you're not putting in the work to rise above. Value doesn't happen by accident. It's the result of deliberate, focused investment in your own development. And here's the thing. Your growth isn't just for you. When you become more valuable, you become more impactful, you're not just adding to your life, you're adding to others. That's what makes valuable people so magnetic. They're solution bringers. They walk into chaos and bring clarity. They step into confusion and bring confidence. Why? Because they've done the inner work. They've put in the hours. They've taken the hits. And now their presence carries something that matters. You can't fake value. You can fake attention. You can buy followers. You can build hype. But when life gets real, when challenges rise, when results matter, only real value sustains. And that comes from what you've built inside yourself when no one else was clapping. So let me ask you, how are you using your time? Are you building or just busy? Are you investing in your future or just surviving your present? Because the time you're wasting now is the same time someone else is using to become the person you'll be asking for help later. If you want to stop being overlooked, stop waiting and start working. Invest in your growth like your life depends on it. Because it does. Your relationships, your finances, your purpose, your legacy. It's all tied to the level of value you carry. You don't have to be perfect, but you do have to improve every single day, inch by inch, skill by skill, choice by choice. And over time, you look back and realize the most powerful thing you ever did was stop being available to everything and start being committed to becoming valuable. So build, sharpen, grow. Let your time be proof that you are serious about who you're becoming. And watch how the doors that once ignored you start swinging wide open. Purpose is the foundation of value. If you don't know why you exist, you'll settle for anything. You'll chase trends, follow crowds, copy others, and still feel empty. But the moment you discover purpose, your real reason for being, it changes everything. Because when you operate in your purpose, you automatically increase your value. Not by doing more, but by becoming aligned. That's the truth. Busy doesn't equal valuable. Just because you're doing a lot doesn't mean you're making a difference. Just because your calendar is full doesn't mean your life is fruitful. So many people are exhausted not because they're weak, but because they're misaligned. They're pouring energy into things that look good but feel empty. They're being pulled in every direction, saying yes to everything, yet going nowhere. So ask yourself, are you just doing things, or are you doing the thing you were designed for? Are you moving with clarity or just moving to keep up? Purpose simplifies your life. It doesn't make things easier, but it makes them clearer. You know where to invest. You know who to connect with. You know what to build and what to walk away from. The people with the most value aren't the ones doing the most. They're the ones doing what matters most. They're locked in. They're aligned. They're not wasting energy trying to prove themselves. Their purpose speaks for them. Their fruit proves their value. So today, make this decision. Don't just be available. Be aligned. Find your purpose. Feed it. Focus on it. Let it shape your habits, your voice, your work, your circle. Because when you walk in purpose, you won't have to beg to be noticed. You'll be known by the value you naturally bring. One of the most misunderstood principles in life is this: just because they're always there doesn't mean you're truly seen. Being accessible to everyone at all times doesn't build value. It often diminishes it. When you are too available, people start to treat you like you're replaceable. Because what's common gets overlooked, and what's always around gets taken for granted. You see, value increases when access decreases. Think about it. People don't respect what they can get anytime, anywhere. Scarcity creates curiosity. Boundaries create respect. And if you're always saying yes, always picking up, always showing up, even when it costs you, you're teaching people that your time, energy, and presence require no price. That's dangerous. Because when you give everyone unlimited access to you, they stop valuing the weight of who you are. Not out of malice, but because you've removed the sense of intentionality. You've made yourself too casual, too available, and eventually too easy to overlook. Let's be honest. Some of us are drained, not because life is hard, but because we've allowed everyone to plug into us without limits. We've made ourselves a public outlet, available for emotional dumps, favors, free advice, and last-minute rescues. And in trying to be the reliable one, we've become the invisible one. The one they call when they need something, but never when it's time to honor or elevate. It's time to flip that. Because being valuable requires protecting your capacity. It means recognizing that not everyone deserves access to you. It's not arrogance. It's awareness. Awareness of your purpose, awareness of your time, awareness of your limits, and awareness of your worth. Even the most high-performing people know this. If you want to maintain value, you have to create strategic distance. Not isolation, but intentional space. Space to think, space to build, space to recover, space to grow. Because constant availability leads to burnout. And burnout leads to resentment. And when you're running on empty, you can't be valuable to anyone, not even yourself. Time lapse practically. You don't need to answer every text right away. You don't have to attend every meeting or event. You don't need to say yes to every favor, opportunity, or idea. You need a filter. You need to ask, does this align with my purpose? Does this deserve my time? Is this building me or draining me? If it doesn't pass the filter, it doesn't get access. This is how valuable people operate. Their time is protected. Their schedule is focused. Their presence is earned, not assumed. And that's why when they speak, people listen. When they create, people lean in. When they show up, people pay attention. Because their presence means something. It's not random. It's intentional. You can still be kind, generous, and helpful, but that doesn't mean you owe your time and energy to everyone who asks. In fact, one of the highest forms of self-respect is recognizing that you are not for everybody. Your energy is sacred. Your mind is powerful. Your gift is rare. And when you guard it, it grows. When you protect it, it becomes sharper. When you steward it well, others start to recognize the weight of what you carry. And most of all, it rewards patience. So stop giving everyone the same level of access. You are not an open door. You are a vault of value. Treat yourself like it. And don't be afraid to say no, not now, or I'm not available. Because sometimes the most valuable thing you can do is step back long enough to step into who. Let's make one thing clear. Value attracts. When you truly become valuable, you don't have to chase opportunities. They chase you. You don't have to beg to be included. You don't have to scream to be heard. Because when your gift is sharpened, when your purpose is aligned, and when your presence carries weight, the right people, rooms, and rewards will begin to find you. That's the principle. Valuable people don't compete. They position. They know who they are, what they carry, and what they offer. And because they've done the work to become valuable, they don't waste time trying to prove it. Their fruit speaks louder than their words ever could. And here's where most people get it wrong. They think success is about visibility, about being the loudest in the room, the most active on social media, the most seen by the crowd. But real success is not about being visible. It's about being undeniable. When you carry value, when your skill set is excellent, when your mindset is sharp, and your character is strong. you become undeniable. You don't need everyone to like you. You don't even need everyone to know you. You just need to be so aligned, so developed, so refined that when the right door opens, you're ready to walk through it. Think of it this way. A diamond doesn't need to shout. Its brilliance is enough. The shine speaks for itself. And the more it's cut, the more pressure it's endured, the more valuable it becomes. That's what you are when you stop trying to be everywhere and start focusing on becoming exceptional where it actually matters. The world doesn't reward effort alone. It rewards results, value, and impact. And if you're wondering why you're not getting the recognition, the promotion, the opportunities, it might not be because you're not good. It might be because you're still trying to be available to everything instead of being valuable to the right thing. When you master your gift, develop your lane, and protect your purpose, you become magnetic. You stop forcing doors open and start attracting favor. You stop chasing validation and start walking in authentic influence. The very thing you've been chasing begins to chase you, because now you've become an answer. You've become a solution. You've become someone who doesn't just take up space, but transforms it. And listen, this doesn't happen overnight. You don't just decide to be valuable and wake up the next morning with everything figured out. But you do start building every day, brick by brick, choice by choice. Every time you say no to distraction and yes to discipline, every time you choose growth over comfort, every time you sharpen your focus instead of spreading yourself thin, you increase your value. Eventually, all that behind the scenes work adds up. And what used to feel ignored will start getting noticed. Not because you forced it, but because you were faithful to the process. Value rewards consistency. It rewards character.